Alright guys, just finished up watching Warcraft, so here are my quick thoughts. This is a movie that I've been sitting on for a little while now, and the main reason for that is because of all the negativity towards this film. Just one bad review after another, and here in the US, this movie did horribly in the theaters. Now, apparently over in China, it did very, very well, but here in the US, not so much. So due to all that negativity towards this film, I figured I'll just get around to watching it at some other time. There's other movies in my collection I'd rather watch first before a movie that's apparently not going to be very good. So I kind of just put this one on the back burner. And the entire reason I even had this in 4K to begin with is because at Walmart.com a few months back, there was a pricing error, and as such, I was able to get this for dirt cheap on 4K. And again, it is a movie I want to see, and why not beef up my 4K collection? So I had to jump on it for that great price. And I gotta say that all of that was a blessing in disguise, because had I watched this movie as soon as I got it, I would have only watched it on Blu-ray because I did not have a 4K TV yet, and had I waited to buy it, I probably also would have just bought it on Blu-ray. This movie is very CGI heavy, and because I waited to watch it, I got to see it in all of its 4K glory, and it definitely shone. This movie was amazing in 4K. One of the few things this movie was actually praised for was its visual effects, and it definitely shows. Certainly a movie to watch in 4K if you have the chance to do so. I'm sure it also looks just fine on Blu-ray. I'm sure it looks great, but again, definitely a movie to watch in 4K if you can. And I would say stay far, far, far away from the DVD release, because I have no doubt that the DVD release does this movie no justice whatsoever. So at the very least, watch it in 1080, but if you can watch it in 4K, do so. It looked fantastic. But alright, so visually, the movie was great, but now onto the actual film itself. I gotta say, I don't get the negativity. I have absolutely no idea why this movie was panned so much. I actually enjoyed this one. Now, this is coming from somebody who's actually never played World of Warcraft. The only thing I know about the game is that it is a game. That's the extent of my knowledge on that game. It is a game. So maybe going into it completely fresh and not aware of what the actual game is about or the story is about, maybe that helped. I don't know, but from what I've read, and again, one of the few things this movie is actually praised for was its was how close it actually stuck to its source material, the game. So if that's the case, if this movie does stick rather close to the original source material of the actual game, then I really don't get the negativity. I can understand if the story strayed a ton from the game, it was very much different, I would get that then, but if it actually sticks rather close to that material, then why was this movie panned so much? I just don't understand. It was a decent story. There's this race of orcs who end up coming to this realm of, and I'm gonna get the name wrong, it's Azeroth, is that correct? They come to this realm where they basically want to kind of take over this realm. They want to colonize it because their world, their realm has basically, it's dying, it's dead, and they want to come here and take this realm over. So it essentially ends up becoming them versus the humans, although there are other races living in this realm, but they're all happy with each other, living in peace and harmony. And now you got this war-driven orc race that's coming in and trying to destroy all of them. So essentially, again, it is the orcs versus the humans, because the humans are kind of like the race that's kind of like in charge of this realm. So it's those two against each other, and what we come to find out during the movie is that they're not really necessarily, they shouldn't really be fighting one another, because there's actually this greater evil that's kind of taking over their protectors, like the protectors of the one realm, the protectors of the orc realm. They're actually being overpowered by this evilness, and because of that, they're basically kind of tricked into fighting one another and destroying one another, and only a few orcs and then eventually a few humans kind of realize what's going on and realize there's this greater evil that they really should be teaming up to battle. They should be fighting against one another. They should be happy with one another. They're not, they have nothing against one another. It's this evil entity that they really need to team up and battle, because one-on-one, the orcs alone cannot defeat this entity, and the humans alone could definitely not do it. So together they might actually have a chance, but of course, they don't really realize this because they're too busy fighting one another, thinking they're both horrible people. But again, a few select orcs and a few select humans kind of realize what's going on and want to bring these two groups together to fight this greater evil. But it doesn't necessarily work out that way throughout the film. And one of the things I found very interesting was the fact that this film was left extremely open. It's definitely left open for a sequel, because by the end of the film, some crazy stuff has gone on. I won't tell you what happened, but basically it helps. It helps to fuel the flames between the two groups. The humans are definitely not happy with the orcs towards the end of this film because of something that happened. Again, I won't give it away. I won't spoil it for you. But because of that, like the war is only going to degrade and ensue even more. But again, that's not what we need to happen. And this small group of humans and this small group of orcs who kind of maybe realize what's sort of going on. Mostly the orcs, because at this point the humans are really mad. Even though one who kind of realized what was going on is now really angry at the orcs. He's kind of been. Yeah, he's definitely, his thoughts are definitely clouded by some stuff that happened to him throughout the movie. So really when it comes down to it, at this point, it's now the orcs who really need to, like the few who realize what's going on, who realize they need to help them and the humans come together to battle this greater evil. And will it happen? Will it not? Is that something that's even possible? Can they defeat this great evil that they need to bring down? Who knows? And that, again, is what makes this movie really interesting and really unique, and the fact that it is left very open at the end of the movie. And I'm very curious to see where this story is going to go. I really want to know what's going to go down. Will they come together? Will they fight this greater evil? Well, the two teams, the two races, the orcs and the humans, and maybe even the other races that live in Azeroth? Yeah, Azeroth. Will they actually, all team up together to fight this greater evil? Can they put their differences aside, and will they finally realize that what happens at the end of the movie was all kind of a misunderstanding and happened for a good reason? Who knows? But I really want to find out. There's the whole thing with the orc baby being left. It's very much like a reminiscent of like the story of Moses. The baby's like sent down the river, and the humans end up finding the orc baby. We don't know what happens to that. At the very end, they show them like finding the baby, but what happens? Who knows? So again, I really want to know where this story goes. I'm thinking it's going to be very much kind of like the story of Moses, sort of to an extent. I have a feeling we're going to kind of get into something like that. But will we ever get a sequel? I don't know. If you guys heard anything about that, leave a comment down below. But from what I read online, and I only read a few things online, so maybe there's more out there about this, but from what I read quickly online, apparently there's no talks yet of a sequel. Since the movie didn't do very well, it's all kind of up in the air as to whether or not this movie actually will get a sequel or not. Now, it did very, very well over in China, like I said, so that's kind of helping it. Maybe it might get a sequel due to the popularity of the film over there. I'm sure they want to hit that market, but because of how badly it bombed here in the US, it might not get one, and I hope that's not the case. I thought this movie was great. I don't understand all the hatred towards it. It makes no sense whatsoever to me. Was this movie, like, outstanding? Was it amazing? Was it something mind-blowing? Was it a draw-dropping masterpiece? I wouldn't necessarily say that, but was it good? Was it definitely worth a watch? Yes, I would have to say so. The story is interesting. It's something fun. There's a lot of great action scenes, a lot of great battles. And again, visually, this movie is beautiful. Again, a movie to watch in 4K if you have the possibility to do so. It looked amazing. So, I, again, really like this movie. I would definitely recommend it, and I gotta say that Warcraft is one to see. I don't get the negativity. So if you guys did not like this movie, if for some reason you were just against it and thought it wasn't that great, leave a comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know why you did not like Warcraft. I want to hear your thoughts on that one, because I'm very curious, because I really enjoyed it. Was it because you played the game and maybe it was different in the game? Something about it was different? I have no idea. Again, leave a comment down below. But again, Warcraft, I gotta say, is definitely one to check out for not only the great visuals, but the fun story. And hopefully, because this was left extremely, extremely, extremely open-ended, I really hope we at least get one more sequel that helps kind of tie everything up, even if they don't want to do more movies after the next movie, if there even is a next movie. At the very least, do one more film, kind of tie things up. I would love to see that. So again, Warcraft, I gotta say, it's one to check out, and in 4K.